Yeah, I've admitted to being a sociopath before in at least one of my videos. And in the comment section, I've admitted to it. On the Vegan Revolution podcast, I've even said I'm a sociopath.
This is the voice of Jasmine Gaines. Entschuldige mir bitte, ich bin ein deutschsprechender Ausländer, das ist nicht so einfach für mich zu erklären. Aber, auf Englisch. We have the moral high ground. That is what I want you to know, okay? I want to be very clear with all of you. It doesn't matter how many times I called Richard the N-word on camera. It doesn't matter that Richard supported white supremacists on their channel, even though those white supremacists not only wanted to kick all of the black people out of the United States and Canada, but specifically said they would kick out Richard. It doesn't matter how many times Richard had knives on camera, guns on camera, how many times he directly made threats of violence to people. We have the moral high ground. And you know why? Because it's art! Richard is an artist! None of you appreciate his art! If Richard films himself going to Costco, that is art! And if you can't appreciate it, you shouldn't even be on the internet! You don't understand. The internet is not a place where two different people can have two different opinions and discuss it. Okay, no. The internet is a place where Richard is a great artist who stockpiles guns and ammunition and swords and, you know, those knives that are like little flip knives and other stabbing implements in his apartment, and makes threats about people and talks about his violent fantasies about wanting to kill people, babies, children, whatever. Doesn't matter. Art! Okay? And if someone suggests to him that his time could be better spent reading a book instead of playing video games for 3 hours at a time, that person is bad and evil and wrong and deserves all the insults and harassment and threats of violence and invitations to have, you know, some kind of boxing match. I don't know. I don't watch that stuff with Richard. Whenever he's in the other room watching MMA, I just close the door and try to live stream, try to think happy thoughts while I'm simulating myself shooting people in the head in Iraq and Afghanistan. Okay, art. We have the moral high ground. Do you remember that time when one of the most successful YouTube channels that there is, Grade A Under A, made a very mild and very funny criticism of Richard that was also completely true, and Richard responded by uploading a video that was so vile, so violent, so vulgar, and so inappropriate that it was almost immediately banned from YouTube. Do you remember that? Well, forget it! Because we have the moral high ground, and it doesn't matter how wrong we are, even if I'm wrong or right. Now sign up to our Patreon and give me your money because this YouTube thing isn't working out anymore, okay?
This isn't something people ask me about. It's something people bluntly say to me all the time. Earlier today, I was talking to a room of vegans, 30, 40, 50, I didn't ask people, older, mature vegans. And someone just said flatly, I hate being in the same category as vegan games. So I've talked about that under other headings. We're like, you guys heard me say, we have this guy, Durian Ryder, who's dragging the name of veganism through the mud. We have this, we have that. But I mean, it's just, it wasn't the main topic of conversation. But it came up sincerely. Where the guy said, at one point, he said, look, couldn't we come up with a better definition or name? Can't we come up with something so that people do not perceive me as being in the same category as vegan gains? Now, I don't know. Other things, I mean, look, we're partly talking about a real world phenomenon, a political phenomenon, a movement. We are partly talking about an internet phenomenon, right? I don't know if the comic book YouTubers wake up that way. They're like, I just can't stand making content in the same category as those Spider-Man people. Can't the X-Men people in the Spider-Man? I don't know if it runs that deep.
Hello, everybody. I'm Vegan Gains. I'm sorry if my voice sounds unusual, or if the movement of my lips is not really perfectly in sync with the words that I'm saying. It's because I have a disease called Canadian. Anyway, I just wanted to update you all about what happened with YouTube deleting my channel. If there's one thing I know, it's not my fault. There's no way anyone could look at this list of community guidelines with concepts like harassment and think that I was the one violating them. No. It's somebody else's fault. That's what I have to explain to you. And I don't really know if I should blame like the corporations or like the internet or like bad people in the audience. But trust me on this, guys. It's not my fault. I also want to say, looking back at the 5 years of my life, like that just went past, there's nothing I regret. No, it's not like I had the opportunity of a lifetime handed to me for no particular reason and with not very much effort on my part, and I just threw that away. No. When I look back at the last 5 years of my life, I don't think, amount of time spent playing video games versus amount of time doing legitimate vegan activism versus amount of time doing like filmmaking, because like my career on YouTube is being no. So in conclusion, everything bad is somebody else's fault. On Twitter, I describe myself as having like an education channel. Did you see that? Did you see that when I complained when I made myself out to be the victim? I said like I do like science education for vegan diets. It's hilarious. Yeah, give me money. Bye.
Did Vegan Gains win? In a perfect world, should he win? Should he have won? Would the world be a better place if Vegan Gains got to play the role of super victim and advocate for freedom of speech, crying that YouTube unfairly punished him when he is just an innocent science education channel? And then at the same time, he can turn around and claim that my channel, which obviously has no claim to being of educational value whatsoever, right? That my channel is guilty of exactly the crime he was just accused of, and that I should be shut down and censored on that same basis. This is the final email I sent to Richard. It's on my blog. It was posted to my blog several days after I sent it to him, when it seemed clear that he was not going to reply. Okay, so I'll make a video proceeding with your statement that 1, you do not currently own real firearms because the police do not allow you to under the terms of your probation. 2, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have lied, and you continue to lie in claiming that you do not own any real weapons. You claim that all of your weapons are quote-unquote fake and quote-unquote toys because the knives, assault batons, swords, etc. are indeed real weapons. 3, you still want to own guns in the future as soon as you are allowed to do so legally. Is this correct? Do you want to clarify what your position on firearms ownership is? Do you believe that someone who has hallucinations of the kind you describe yourself, including auditory hallucinations, quote-unquote hearing voices that are not there, having a paranoid and aggressive reaction to strangers with the specific delusion that people are trying to kill you when they just say hello to you or shake hands with you, etc., do you think that sort of person should be allowed to own, use, and carry firearms? If I describe that person to you as someone other than yourself, would you agree with the statement, quote, the government is justified in doubting their responsibility to safely use firearms, close quote? Do you think that the military would be willing to recruit or employ someone with this list of symptoms and to trust them to use guns responsibly in a high-pressure situation? Would you not agree that someone who had your checklist of symptoms might be disqualified from owning or carrying firearms in at least some democratic countries? Richard, when people write into me saying he should be on psychiatric medication, I write back saying, no, he should just take a vow that he's not going to do any of these things again. You say that you're a changed man. What you're showing me is that you haven't changed. You presented yourself as a victim of censorship. You then become a hypocrite the moment it suits you. Quote unquote, "You're putting me and my wife in danger," as if this were any more true of you than, for example, a bodybuilder claiming that his life is in danger if his apartment is searched for illegal drugs because you've accused him of using illegal drugs. Richard, you have just been morally grandstanding about the rights of free speech, critique, and satire, and then the moment it's convenient for you, you do everything in your power to, quote-unquote, oppress someone else while continuing to play the victim card.